Hey y'all, this is John Trent from Bounding into Comics, and I've got a pretty big Marvel Studios rumor for you today. It looks like Marvel Studios might finally be pulling the trigger on adapting Richard Rider, aka Nova, aka the Human Rocket, into a live-action film. This rumor comes from Mikey Sutton and his Geekosity Facebook group. Sutton writes, "I'm hearing that Marvel Studios wants to launch this Human Rocket they've been developing for years. I scooped it ages ago, and is eyeing Watts for the position. Human Rocket, his name is Richard Rider, otherwise known as Nova." Now, according to Sutton, the reason why Marvel Studios might be pulling the trigger on Nova is because of the ongoing negotiations between Sony and Disney over Spider-Man. In fact, as I just read, Sutton indicates that Disney is looking at Jon Watts to direct the upcoming Nova project. Sutton adds, Watts will want a pay raise after Far From Home netted $1 billion globally, and the mouse will pull up the trucks filled with cash outside of his doorway. And while the big rumor from Sutton is a Nova film, he indicates it's just the beginning of a much larger narrative. He states that Nova could be the first in a line of films that leads to a Young Avengers film and the introduction of Galactus and Silver Surfer. So he writes, and don't be surprised if he ends up being discussed for the Young Avengers movie too. Nova will gradually build to an annihilation epic with Galactus and the Silver Surfer. End quote. This isn't the first time we've heard Marvel Studios was looking at adapting Nova. In fact, rumors have been swirling for a while. Sutton notes. The most recent one, though, came from TiVo at Lords of the Long Box. He noted Marvel Studios was actually setting up a meeting with a 20-something actor who previously appeared in a Christopher Nolan movie, and that meeting was to audition for Nova. So they might already have a person in mind to play Nova. And these rumors also have some credence from people at Marvel Studios. In fact, Marvel Studios' big boss, Kevin Feige, has been hinting about a Nova project in the works for quite a bit. He previously stated, quote, Nova is, if we have a big board with a bunch of characters that have more immediate potential, Nova is on that board, end quote. He even admitted that Nova was actually cut from the original Guardians of the Galaxy film. He said, because of the connection to the Guardians universe, because there are more than one examples to pull from in the comics that are interesting, and you're absolutely right, he was in the earliest drafts of the Guardians of the Galaxy, end quote. Not only has Feige discussed Nova, but Avengers Endgame director Joe Russo confirmed Nova appeared in Avengers Endgame during the fight with Thanos. He said, quote, look closely at that scene again, and you will see Richard Rider in the background of a shot, Easter egg, end quote. Russo would later retract that comment, saying that was actually a joke on our part. But Endgame writer Christopher Marcus did note that he had included Nova in a rough outline for Infinity War and Endgame. So Marcus detailed, quote, I remember going through several scenarios of Nova. Thanos could come and kill all the Nova Corps except one guy, Richard Rider, who then becomes... I think in that scenario, he became the Herald, kind of like the Hulk was in Infinity War when he crashed into the Sanctorum. Someone who could come out and tell people, we had everything, literally every variation we could think of, or that was sitting there in the comics untapped with absolutely no value placed next to them. End quote. It definitely looks like Marvel Studios has plans for Nova, or have been looking to incorporate him for some time. That Avengers, or that first Guardians movie, I think that was 2014. That was almost 5 years ago. That's a half decade ago. If I'm right on the date there, it might have been a little earlier. I think it was 2014. So if they are going to launch Nova now, it would make sense that they would give him his own flagship film to get ready for the Young Avengers and the arrival of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. That's kind of what they did in Phase 1, where they would launch characters in movies, and then obviously they had the big team-up film, so it's extremely successful. It's possible that they might want to at least try and continue that success in some way, but it does also look like that they are kind of continuing the MCU narratives on Disney Plus. Obviously, Disney Plus is a huge risk for Disney, and it's something that they want to make successful as quickly as possible. Obviously, you're seeing all those shows on Disney Plus, so they could also introduce him there. I'm not sure what shows we would see him on there. I don't think any of the, possibly the Loki show would probably be the most relevant, given Loki is a cosmic character, obviously being from Asgard. I don't think you would see him in the WandaVision show. I'm not seeing him in Hawkeye, and I'm not seeing him in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he definitely wouldn't work probably in Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, or Moon Knight. But if he did show up in one of those, it would probably be the Loki show. But otherwise, it would probably make more sense to see him getting his own movie. But what do you make of this rumor? Do you think we will see Nova in the MCU sooner rather than later? Are there any storylines you would want to see adapted for a Nova film? Let me know what you think by leaving a comment below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit subscribe and smash that bell for notifications. And if you also like to share this video with your friends and family, that would be deeply appreciative. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics. Till next time.